I'm Tracy, also known as Hot Nerd Girl, here on my Pod Squadron set. And I had put out a few weeks ago when The Last of Us started that I had a go bag, and if anybody would be interested in knowing kind of what I have in my go bag. And I watch a lot of, like, I wouldn't say like full-on prepper videos, but definitely like some disaster survival type things. And there's not a whole lot of women who show what they have in their go bags, so I thought maybe that would be kind of a different perspective. And here in California, you know, we have earthquakes and we have wildfires and all these things, and so, and I've said many times that my biggest fear is zombies and not so much the slow bumbling back from the dead zombies, but maybe like the 28 days later virus zombies. And I just, after 3 years, got COVID for the first time, and it really put me down for a couple of weeks. And you know, that's you know, luckily I feel very fortunate that I'm vaccinated and boosted, and very much a believer in all of that, and it still put me down pretty good. So the global pandemic, I think, has become a more real threat, and that kind of falls into The Last of Us, right? It's a little bit of a global pandemic slash zombie-ish type of show. So I'm going to show you what's in my go bag, and I technically have 2 go bags. I guess sort of 3 in a way. So I have one of these. This is a Judy box, and this is kind of a one-stop shop. This I put in the garage right in front of my car. It's got all kinds of crazy stuff in it. I got this actually from on sale, and now I think they pretty much just have backpacks. They don't really do these bins anymore, but you can see it's kind of got everything just kind of packed here. We've got warmth, safety, first aid tools, water, and food. And this is supposed to be enough for 4 people for, I believe, 2 weeks. So, and the water has a 5-year shelf life. The food bars have a very long shelf life as well. In addition to this, sorry for my voice. I'm still kind of getting over the Rona. But in addition to this, in my garage right in front of my car, I've also got boxes of water, and also different types of beans and legumes and Cliff Bars and things like that. So I can very quickly grab a few things if I have the time. And if I don't, then I have this that I can grab, as well as this is my main go bag. And I really need to get a bigger backpack, but I kind of was using what I had. So this is my main go bag. And you can see I have a little fanny pack on here as well that's attached that I can take off and put on around my waist if I have time. And then I also have a car go bag that gets kept in my car, and it's obviously much smaller. This is a backpack that I got years ago for my niece that she never ended up using. I think it was like $3 at Walmart on sale after school. So I'll just kind of go through these real quick. I'll show you the main one first. And again, this was a backpack I already had on hand, so I did not purchase one. I would like to get a bigger one at some point. And just a quick caveat, these go bags are constantly changing, right? You have to change out the food, you have to change out, if you have any water in there, you have to change it out after a few years. There are things, I have an Amazon wish list with things that I would like, even if I don't end up buying it from Amazon, if I get it from somewhere else, because I do tend to try and get items directly from different companies. At least it's kind of a one-stop shop that shows kind of where, you know, what I would like. And it also is good for if my boyfriend wants to get me a gift, I can send him a link from my from my survival wish list on Amazon. So I do have a few things attached on the backside here. This is actually a camping dishware set. It's got 2 plates, 2 forks, 2 knives, 2 spoons, and 2 collapsible cups in here. This was a very inexpensive one. If I had a bigger backpack, it would be inside, but since I don't, and it is something I can attach to the outside, I went ahead and did that. I also have a car window, like a breaker thing. You can put this up against the glass and it'll break the glass, and there's also a seatbelt cutting thing. I just happened to have this. I didn't need it, so I put it on here since it has a keychain. These are a couple of those spork knife multi-tools. I've got a couple of those in here. I've got actually a small roll of toilet paper because I already had this in here. And I've just kind of got a little multi-tool here. It has a level, it has 2 different kinds of screwdrivers, it has a little flashlight on it as well. It was just something that my dad gave me, and it fits right in here, so I went ahead and tacked it in here. On the other side, this is actually a Life Straw water bottle. So it has the Life Straw inside of it. So anywhere that I get water, I can just fill this up with water, and before I even take a sip of it, it's going to filter it out with that Life Straw technology. And it has a little carabiner on it, so that's great. And then I also have, this is actually attached to my fanny pack, and it has a quick release. This is a pepper spray. So being a lady, I like to have, you know, a couple different lines of defense in here, and I do have others, which we will get to. So first thing is first. That fell off. This is actually in the same line of self-defense. This is a combination flashlight as well, and I don't have the batteries in it at the moment because I didn't want them to go bad. I do have batteries in here, but this is a flashlight slash. Oh, I do have batteries in it. Just kidding. So, oh, it's a a taser as well. So, and it does have a little fail safe on here so that, anyway, yeah. And this is actually this is a chargeable one. I forgot about that. So, yeah, it's a flashlight as well as a taser, which is kind of awesome. So I have the pepper spray for long distance, and hopefully I don't get any closer than that, and the taser for the short distance if they do. Inside this fanny pack, which I probably wouldn't have it if I had a bigger backpack, but since I don't, I needed a little extra. I tried it, and I could carry one size battery. So all of my items that are in here are AAA size, and that's so that I don't have to go on the hunt for different things, or it's in some way chargeable and I have a solar charger. So this is a really good flashlight. It's a Gorilla flashlight. That's and it's in a bright color, which I really liked. I've got a headlamp so that I can be hands-free if I want to. I've got just a small first aid kit in here. I've got a multi-tool that can do, you know, all sorts of different things. This is actually from when I used to go on tour. Worked for a company that did that. I won't say what company or what we did it for, but I already had that. I also like to carry paper maps because phones are probably not going to work. So here's just a map of California. I do have other more regional maps. I have an N95 mask in here and paper soaps. So these are really handy if you have just a little bit of water. It's just a little slip of paper. I am obsessive compulsive, so I very if my hands are clean, then I can deal with a lot of other dirtiness. So I like to be able to have multiple ways of cleaning my hands. And I always, always, always prefer a soap and water option. So that is my little addition there. This backpack has multiple pockets. And I probably need to organize it a little bit better if I'm being honest. But this is what I've got and where I'm at the moment. So this is actually a blow-up lantern and it's solar powered. So these were great for camping, and they require no batteries or anything like that. I do have carabiners attached to them. I use them all the time, and I decided to keep a couple in my go bag. I've got a couple of bungee cords in here because you never know when you're going to need a bungee cord. This is a rain poncho. I decided to do a rain poncho instead of an umbrella because umbrellas just took up a lot of room and you lose a hand. So got rain ponchos, got a couple of those, actually a few of those. I've got a few foil mylar emergency blankets because they are just so incredibly cheap and they have multiple functions. I have a compass. And this is actually a multi-purpose compass. I've got several different kinds of flashlights. So this has a flashlight, it has a temperature gauge, it has the compass, it has a whistle, and it also has a little storage compartment in here as well. It has a magnifying glass, and it has a mirror. So you can use that as a reflective thing in addition to your mylar blanket. So that's all I've got in there. In this one, this is actually a rain jacket, and it's one that wraps up very small. I can attach this by a carabiner if I need to. It also acts as a windbreaker. Really handy, but also very compact. So that was important to me. This is just paracord, like the bungees. You never know what's going to come in handy. This is actually my Boy Scout pocket knife because when I was a Girl Scout, my dad didn't think that the Girl Scout knives were adequate enough. So I have a Boy Scout knife. And I've had that pretty much my whole life. I do have a toothbrush, which this is a space splurge, but I'm a toothbrusher. I brush my teeth multiple times a day. It makes me feel a lot better to have clean teeth. So this is actually plastic bags, plastic trash bags. Now, at my house, I use these compostable trash bags, and I love these things, but they tend to start breaking apart even by the time it's trash day. So, I mean, I've never had one make a mess on me, but they just don't last for as long as you probably would need in a survival situation. So I did go to the dollar store one day and I got a box of just normal black trash bags. You just never know when these are going to come in handy. I also, the things that are stored in plastic bags, so this is just some batteries. Normally I use compostable plastic, not plastic, but compostable bags as well. These are actually really neat. Or I have reusable ones, or I have ones, I use glass containers or, just normal Tupperware type things. But again, in a survival type situation, a glass jar or a Tupperware is going to take up a lot of room, and the compostable ones are not necessarily going to be the best for long term. So I do have some plastic bags. This is actually reused from travel, so I do try to reuse those. I do have a pair of sunglasses, like an old pair. This is gloves. So I've got like some dishwashing gloves and some just like latex gloves. So this is actually a little bit of a space splurge as well. These are goggles that actually go tight against your face, and this was in the event of like a pandemic, or if I'm in a situation where I just need to protect my eyes. Again, a little bit of a space splurge, but for me, I had them, and so it was important for me to include those. These are Lysol disinfecting wipes, Kleenex. It's not a ton of Kleenex, but you know, it'll hopefully get me through for a week or whatnot. I do have a cheap dollar store can opener. Just because I don't want to have to fight with a can to open it. I have, these are waterproof and rainproof notepads. They're very, very neat. You can put these things in water and they don't disintegrate. They're amazing. The company is called Right in the Rain, all-weather universal notepads. And I do have a pencil as well. I have some chapstick and some floss. I don't, on a daily basis, actually don't wear much makeup, if any makeup at all, really. So makeup was not a priority option of any kind, but I do really like my chapstick. Now, if it gets, if something happens to my chapstick, am I going to survive? Of course I'm going to survive. But this is a Buck 105 knife that my dad gave me years ago. So I have that as kind of an additional level of protection or whatever I might need it for. These are actually just tea lights, and these actually generate quite a bit of warmth and light. You can, you know, do some, you know, I guess a little bit of cooking maybe on them. You can melt some things. You can get them at, this is $1 at the dollar store, so I decided to go ahead and include those. Because I like to have a lot of different options. So you'll notice that I have, like, these are actually little fire starter twigs. You can break these apart, and they're waterproof. They've got a little bit of wax on them, and it makes for a great fire starter. This is several different matchbooks. I think I've got 3, 6, 9 different matchbooks. They're just regular, whatever matchbooks. Not a big deal. More fire starter. This is so this is also a fire starter. It also has some paracord on it as well. So again, redundancy. Just want to have multiple different ways. If I lose my matches or they get wet, I want to have an option to have different types. And a lighter. Redundancy. I actually have this lighter as well, which is chargeable. I don't have it in my normal items, but you can see, maybe, I don't know if you can see the purple, but that is that's one that is waterproof and whatnot. Okay, I'm gonna try and keep this video relatively short, so let's keep it moving here. I'm kind of speeding through all this. So in here's where I have my bulkier items. This is the main bin. In here I have some high protein, long lasting snacks. So I have Cliff bars, and I also have like dried fruit and nut mixes. And I mean, if you ration, this can last you and another person quite a while. This is also one of those Manish White's bean soup mixes, which I don't know if you've ever actually made one of these. I bought 2 of them a while ago. It is the blandest thing you will ever put in your mouth, but it is a great source of energy and protein. And if it's a survival situation, I'm not going to care what it tastes like. So I went ahead and put it in my survival go bag. This, speaking of a present, this is actually a gift from my boyfriend that I got for Christmas. So that, because it was on my survival list. And this is a hand crank radio, emergency radio. It also has a flashlight. It has, gosh, all kinds of different things on here. It is chargeable, but it is also a hand crank, so you don't have to be able to charge it.
San Diego County dancers from 4 p.m. Tuesday to 6 p.m. Wednesday.
See, we're already getting warnings.
Damaged trees and other objects.
So there you go.
Especially for high.
It works. And this was not expensive. A lot of this stuff I just kind of got over time, so it wasn't a huge financial investment. Or you can get things at the dollar store, like Duct tape. This duct tape is from the dollar store. So I do not, however, have WD-40. Right? And that's the thing where you can either fix it with WD-40 or with duct tape. These are just some work gloves. They are cut resistant and they have grippers on them. And I didn't want to add the bulk of a larger set of leather work gloves in here because I was kind of limited on space. Plus I have very tiny hands. So these were kind of the next best thing. I do have a hat in here. I'm very sensitive to the sun. Now, granted, if I'm running from zombies, screw the sun, whatever. You do whatever you can to survive. But I have a lot of hats. And so I went ahead and just kind of popped one in here. Because sunglasses break, you know, this one is one that's adjustable so it'll fit to my head and be nice and snug. I do have a small towel in here. It's not a large towel. I didn't have the space for a large towel, but it will do in a pinch. And as we all know from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, do not forget your towel. I do have a pair of spare shoes that I don't wear very often. I have a nightmare of being maybe at a wedding or something and being stuck in heels when a disaster happens. And it drives me nuts when I see something like Jurassic Park or a superhero movie where they're running around in heels. I'm sorry, it's just not practical. Even when I go to weddings, I take a pair of flats with me because as soon as the wedding and cocktail hour is over, I'm switching to flats. So an extra pair of shoes. And I have some spare clothes in here. Now this is not a ton of clothes. The most important thing is going to be socks. So I do have a few pairs of socks in here. I have a couple of pairs of underwear. I have just like an old t-shirt and a pair of old leggings. Things that I'm not going to miss and that will just do in a pinch. Things that can be layered. I also have a handkerchief in here because you never know when that's going to come in handy. This is another item that my dad got me. This is a solar charger. So you can, those are the solar panels, and it comes with cords, and you can charge a lot of different things that way. So some of my items that are battery free, I have this as kind of a backup. This is soap because I need soap, and again, redundancy. I have the paper soap and I have that soap. This is just a little thing that came with the backpack that I forgot was in the bottom of it. I have baby wipes, so I can do like a quick sort of PTA bath, pits, tits, and ass bath if I need to. And they don't have the chemicals in them like the Lysol wipes do. I also have some hand sanitizer, some toothpaste, and a small thing of sunscreen. You know, if it's not a prolonged zombie apocalypse and I just need it for a few days because there's an earthquake or something. So this is for the ladies. This is actually, this is a menstrual cup. And in lieu of, you know, tampons, which you'll run out of, this you can pop in for, you know, until it's full. So you can do like a couple days. And it is going to last for years and years and years. So that might be a little too much, a little TMI for the guys, but for the women in the group who, or any, you know, somebody who has a uterus, that is, you know, still bleeding, still doing all of that stuff, this can be a big deal. So, yeah. These are just extra medication. I don't need medication to survive, but I do have some medication that I do take on a daily basis. So I have 2, 4, 6, I have 1 week's worth of pills in here. Just, you know, in case it's a minor emergency. I do have a couple more N95 masks. I've got a small sewing kit. I've got some medical tape. And let's see. In in a little tiny pocket in here. I have a couple other medical things. Oh, I have some crazy glue, so if somebody gets a cut, I can crazy glue it shut. I have, oh, these are potable water tablets. Again, redundancy, so if something happens to my Life Straw bottle, I can still have safe water. I've got some eye drops in here, and it looks like that is it for here. If I ever get a larger backpack, which I would like to do, I would like to have some kind of pot of some kind that I can use to boil water, or something along those lines. So that is my big bag. And then I have my car bag, which as you can see is much smaller. And this is if I happen to be out and about, and I at least will have, if not all of these items, at least like a good chunk of them. I have one of the pepper sprays on here. I have a very tiny little compass on here that came as kind of a zipper pull of a previous backpack. I've got one of the tasers in here, one of the flashlights, a pencil, one of those notepads, the paper soaps, chapstick. This is sort of a little multi-tool that fits right in your wallet. So it has a lot of different functions in a very small amount of space. Everything from screwdrivers and bottle openers to a small ruler. It's all kinds of things. A little cutting tool. It's just really handy, and it was given to me for free, and so I went ahead and popped it in here. I've got eye drops. This is another small fire starter. As you can see, it's a much smaller one, so it fits in this smaller backpack. Batteries, lighter. This is another multi-tool, but as you can see, it's a smaller one and it has a carabiner on it. I don't even remember. I think I got this as a Christmas gift. It's from Sharper Image, if whoever remembers Sharper Image. Sunscreen, potable water tablets, and fire starter wicks. So much fewer things in here. And then in the main pocket, again, I've got those forks with the knife. I've got a small thing of toilet paper, a small towel. I only have socks and underwear. Again, this is like the bare minimum type of kit that I keep in my car. I've got the paracord, Kleenex, just a collection of first aid items. Not to the extent that the other one was in. This is my power source for the smaller backpack, and this is, as you can see, it's much smaller, but this is also solar powered. So, and if you look, it actually has another little compass on here. So again, redundancy. It also has a flashlight on it, so that's really neat. And yeah, I can recharge it or let the sun recharge it. Big believer in having things that can be, that you don't have to carry around batteries for. Again, I've got a headlamp. You just never know when being hands-free is going to come in handy. This is a trash bag and a pair of gloves. Again, a much smaller amount. And this is a couple of rain ponchos and a couple of the Mylar blankets. A pair of those gloves. They came in a 2-pack. I've got a couple of bungee cords, an N95 mask, this is the kind of water that I get. This is boxed water, and they can be refilled and reused. So I've got 2 of those in there. I do have a Life Straw just by itself that I thought about putting in here, but it's currently in my camping equipment. And since this is just kind of a real quick emergency for my car, I decided that I could probably ration just as well. So, and then again, some of those high protein snacks. It's Cliff Bars and it's dried fruit and nuts. And another map. And this one, because this goes in my car, this one, I think my video stopped, so I got cut off a little bit there, but I do have a lot of items in my own house that are for being able to shelter in place. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments or send me an email at princesstrek@hotmail.com. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this hopefully pretty brief, not too long, tour of my go bags. Now I gotta put them all back together. Hopefully in a way that makes even more sense, because every time I take them apart, I try to put them together even better. So thank you so much. And again, dollar stores are your friend, and just sort of slowly collecting things over time. So even having a very small go bag puts you ahead of a lot of people. So, and if you live in a place that has tornadoes or hurricanes or wildfires or earthquakes or dust storms or snowstorms, any kind of natural disaster, having some kind of go bag type thing doesn't make you a crazy prepper person. It just makes you a practical person. So yeah, thanks for watching, and take good care.